I'm going to speak louder because I have a feeling that nobody can hear me. I'm going to speak about what women want. A lot of people don't know what women want, and I don't think that even women sometimes know what they want. But I'm going to tell you what women need first. Okay? What women need to be fulfilled in a relationship with a man. And I'm not talking about other alternative relationships. Not that I'm against them. I'm talking about man and women relationships. What women need is to feel secure. To know that she's not going to have to worry about how to feed her children or pay for the mortgage. She needs to also feel like a woman, okay, and not a surrogate mommy. She also doesn't want to feel as if you are a hothead who is going to get into fights and say things to other people in public or get into a fist fight, and then she's going to have to worry at night. Okay? So there's a lot of things that women need in order to feel good and secure in a relationship. Because security is the key to a woman. Okay? It's not the money you make, it's whether or not you have a secure, good job that you are going to be able to, work together in that relationship to build a family and have a house and raise children without the fear of being homeless or having to scrape together things from the couch. Okay, so let's touch on some of the things that women want. First and foremost, we do not want you to con us in the beginning of the relationship into thinking you are an upstanding, mature man and love us so much and wine us and dine us and 69 us. And then once you buy the cow, you become you treat us like a surrogate mother and start treating us like your mother. We don't want to. We want you to be mature enough to pick up after yourself. We don't want to have to worry about whether or not you're going to play video games all fucking day in the basement and go off to play golf all weekend, every weekend, with your friends and your buddies, and leave us home with the kids. You are a father too, and despite what dumb Donald Trump thinks, playing with your children as a father is best for the children, especially the female children, to understand what love from a father is and how he can protect her. So she'll go on to have a good relationship with her mate in the future. And it's also been shown that when a father plays with his sons and takes an interest in his children and his sons in particular, then they don't end up in jail or gangs. So we don't want you to leave us home all weekend and play with, and then roll in at 11 o'clock after you've been out all weekend doing nothing but playing golf or whatever, and expect to roll into bed and have nookie. No, you're not getting nookie till 11 o'clock after I've been sitting there all day, watching kids. I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing screaming kids, blah, blah, blah. sometimes for a honey-do list, which you never do. A mature man does it without being asked. That's it. I saw some dumb bitch online say, give men excuses. Oh, well, men's brains are wired differently. Bullshit. I know many, many, many men who do things for their family without being asked. Imagine that. They don't have to be asked because they've been raised correctly. They've been raised to believe that they are supposed to do things in a modern world. Okay? So we want stability so that we aren't worried and anxious about whether or not we're going to be homeless. We want security in the fact that we don't want any fights or any dumb hotheads going to your lumps or whatever they call it at Planet Hollywood or Planet Fitness. We don't want lunks or juice heads getting into fights or acting like big brutes that want to fight somebody over some stupid bullshit. And then we don't want to worry about somebody coming to our house. Okay? So keep your mouth shut. Learn some restraint about what you say in public. Okay? It takes a bigger man to just walk away than to start a fight and get into a fight. Okay? We want calmness. We don't want somebody who is easy to anger. You know why? Because men who are easy to anger, and women too, men who are easy to anger will start fights, or they will be more than likely to break things in the home, beat up the wife, and cause a huge rift in the relationship, or beat up the children, or the dog, or whatever. We don't want that. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Resentments that build up within a household, within a marital household, resentments that build up within a household, and stress and tension and anxiety that build up. Guess what happens? That is the death knell of sex in the home. Once you're scared of your husband or your wife, there is no more sex. Once you have resentments, they fester, and you can't come back from that. My father was a racist. He would use the N-word to people. My mother was scared to death about if somebody's going to follow us home. And he also pushed her around and was scary in the household. And I never saw them kiss or hug the entire relationship. And eventually she stopped sleeping in the same bed, and then they got divorced. So if you want a nice relationship, go to a therapist, get your anger in check, and move on. Okay, we don't need that kind of shit. Okay, in our lives. We want somebody who's level-headed. Okay? Who will not do things without some thinking. Like, we don't want somebody to go out and all of a sudden we come home and there's a Corvette or there's a jet ski after the wife has been scrimping and saving for months because you have mounting debt. You know, we don't want that. That's causing tension and anxiety in the relationship. We don't want somebody who's boastful, okay? who lives like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is boastful about things, but he's a really small man. Okay? I grew up around millionaires. The millionaires I know are not boastful. They clip coupons. They don't have big houses. Okay? They don't want to be showy. Okay? They're generous with people and with charities, but they're not boastful. You will not hear them talk about their money. Okay? So that's the problem. You don't want somebody who wants to buy all this crap for your house and you're living on credit. A man who's boastful probably doesn't have much down in the pants area. And you want something. You want something good. Okay? You don't want somebody who's living in fantasy land who thinks one day, if I just do this, I'm going to be a millionaire. Or you know what? One day one day I'll do this or that. And you're sitting at home with all this crap at the house. One day I'll fix that truck that I bought on eBay. And it's just sitting there cluttering up the house. You don't want that. You don't want your house cluttered up with his bullshit, his fantasies of his days gone by in high school, his glory days. You don't want that. Because it's cluttering up your shit too. Okay? Now, to further on, to go on that, you want somebody who is respectful to people, who is respectful to children and animals, and is nice to your mother and your father. You want a man who lives below his means, but not to the point of being a pauper. You don't want somebody who is cheap. Because if he's cheap with everything else, he'll be cheap with you, and he'll be cheap with his affections towards you and your future children. And I'm going to just give you one, and you have to be sexually compatible too. You can't have a pushover for a guy and expect him to be a dominant man in the relationship. It's not going to work. He'll just go along with all your bullshit. Okay. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick story. I went into Best Buy to buy a new computer because mine died. And while I was there, this little tiny, short, sawed-off couple, comes in flip-flops and looks like they had just come home from the shore. They didn't look like they had too much money. And they had two little kids that were exactly like them. Little tiny kids with flip-flops and Walmart summer finery. They made a beeline to the subwoofers. He wanted to buy a subwoofer for the back of the family car. I heard them. Now, that's if I was the wife, I would have dropped him immediately. Here, they're probably living in an apartment complex. They probably are in debt up to their eyeballs. They probably haven't paid for that car in full, and he wants a subwoofer because he wants to play whatever he wants to play really loud driving down the road. Now, when I was little, that was fun. I thought that I was hot shit driving down the road. With NWA and not Vanilla Ice. Any other, and Beastie Boys. But now when I'm older, I realize what a dumb fuck I looked like. Okay, I must have looked like a dumb fuck. And at 3 o'clock in the morning in Amish country, you don't want to wake up Amish people. So I was really an asshole. So if I'm an asshole driving around in my 20s at 3 o'clock in the morning, blasting NWA, fuck the police, and the Beastie Boys, then the man who wants a subwoofer in the back of his car to blast his music while he can't afford, his apartment, you don't want him either. So here's some really good advice that I've given you, and maybe you'll think about it. That's what kind of men that women really want. That's what we really want. I don't need a man with with $1 million. I don't need that. Oh, I just stopped at the green light. Duh. I don't need a man with $1 million. I just need a man who is mature. A mature man with his own money and without a hot head and who's secure in himself and doesn't have anything to